BTotW.
Hello and welcome back. You heard it here. Pause. Eventually. We have a jam-packed itinerary because it's been a minute since we no. We took like 2 or 3 months off. Remember? I was going. What? Oh yeah, no. Yeah, no. Yeah, this is the most bullet points for sure. But we got some big titties. I got an artist formerly known as a big titty that's going to be like a little cameo. Casting news, anime news. I don't know if there's manga news, but let's just say manga news. Twitter news.
Properties. Okay, now my mic is
What?
working. My mic wasn't working for the first minute. That's fine.
Okay, yeah. He just said it was a it's the longest yet, but I thought he meant break, which was false, but he meant
Yeah, the most that we have on the docket.
Our list, our bullet pointed list, our oh my god, I can't think of the fucking word. The outline for the episode.
The agenda.
The agenda, yeah, there you go. So we should name this. I just called it cheat sheet back before we ever recorded the first part. We should probably actually rename it. I gotta like reformat it. There's a ton of stuff I gotta do.
We gotta scroll down every time.
We got a shit ton to talk about.
31 pages.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's pageless. Wait, what?
I don't know. When I scroll, it says 31 pages in my.
Oh yeah, it does say that there's different pages. I think. Yeah. It says out 35, but it's like a pageless format. I can't believe it even said that. All right, we got so much, and to not have a 4-hour podcast part, which I personally wouldn't care about doing to you guys, but we probably shouldn't.
We can go with like an hour and a half today. I'm fine with that.
Okay, that sounds good. One of the things we don't even have on the docket is like the new looking setup of your room and stuff.
Yeah, no, we talked about that last time, didn't we?
Did we actually? I think it wasn't finished. Time. Yeah, but it wasn't
what
finished.
Changed in the background? Because my bed was definitely done. The couch was there. My door was closed.
Oh, your door was closed. See, that's
but my roommate left me for a month. I'm roommateless.
Oh, just now?
Yeah. So for the month of August, pretty much, I don't have a roommate.
This is the first time you're gonna feel like what it's like living alone, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm sure there was like a weekend or something in college where I didn't have like anyone over. But
obviously, that does not count for what I'm mentioning. Living alone, like multiple trips to the grocery store without someone else living at that apartment.
I went to Trader Joe's yesterday. That place was lit. They have an amazing frozen section. They could sponsor us. Love Trader Joe's.
They could. I went to a Trader Joe's yesterday and they let me down. I wanted a Visa gift card, but they're not a real supermarket, so they don't have them.
Oh.
They don't even have like, I was trying to find a happy birthday card too. And they didn't have those either.
Yeah, they don't even have a section for that.
Yeah.
But what you got to get at Trader Joe's, their orange chicken, top tier frozen. Their frozen section is just like insane.
It's crazy because I hear they have some of the worst shit and some of the best stuff. Like their Cheerio knockoff, the Trader O's, apparently total crap.
Yeah.
Like absolute sawdust in your mouth, no matter how fresh it is.
The only thing I get there is the frozen section. Some of the fruit is good. And then my mom said there's some cookies that are good, but I haven't had those yet.
Oh, the cookies. Yeah, I've heard the cookies were good.
Yeah.
And they usually have pretty good produce if you're into eating veggies and stuff.
Yeah, like I got some grapes from there. Pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, but they only have like 6 or 10 aisles compared to like a mega grocery store has like 30 if you count when they break it in half in the middle and you have right and left sides to go down.
Yeah, I'm an actual adult now. I be going to like 3 grocery stores a week. I do my like Jewel Osco, which I think is like Albertsons in other states. I go there for like my main stuff. I be going to Aldi now because I heard they just have great prices on like milk.
They're cheap. Yeah, they're cheap. Yeah, they're here too.
So I go there for like also the pizza, surprisingly better than DiGiorno in my opinion. So I get my pizza from there. I get my milk from there, and then I go Trader Joe's for all my frozen stuff, like frozen dinners.
if I want prepped food from a grocery store, I actually go to Whole Foods,
I
one
don't know if
across
I
the
have
way.
one here. Yeah.
They have like a whole pizza station where it's like a make your own, so you can have the
Really?
white garlicky sauce, a
Damn.
full pie. You can add literally any topping.
I'll need
They
to
have a
see if
deli
we
right
have
next
one
to
here.
it. You could probably literally just say, "Hey, what do you have at the deli? Just bring that over and make me a custom price," and they would just do it.
Damn. That's
Their
crazy.
hamburger place exclusively opens for lunch though. I've walked in at like 5 p.m. and it's closed, and I really want to try one just to see what it's like.
Yeah. Sounds awesome.
Yeah. But anyway, that none of that was on the agenda.
Yeah.
So
We're already going off tangent.
yeah, of course. So that's what podcasts are. That's what I think podcasts are,
Yeah.
the natural flow. So I don't care. And so let's start with Big Titty, because obviously we always have Big Titty. We don't have a moment from history because we just straight up don't have time.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to skip that and that'll come back next part. So I'll do mine first, which is multifaceted.
Mm-hmm.
Because I obviously have the artist formerly known as the Big Titty, which was Pod being back on track.
Yeah.
Because I wrote this right after we recorded episode 24, which was weeks and weeks ago, like right after the summer showcases. So I was going to talk about how we're back on weekly. I'm helping out. I'm going to help out with the thumbnails, which I will. We just haven't recorded a new part. We had already got all the ideas for the ones that we had recorded before then.
Yeah.
And reorganizing this stuff, getting us up. I mean, we don't have to go on Stitcher. That's done. So that's one less platform I got to worry about.
we
They're shutting
don't?
down permanently.
They didn't even hear about that, but okay.
I saw it because I downloaded the app. I got like a terms of service update where they were like, yeah, I don't know exactly. I don't remember what they said. It basically, in my mind, boiled down to they can't. I think they got bought by like Spotify or something, so they got rolled in that whole suite.
Gotcha.
It's either that or they just knew they couldn't compete with all the other podcasts.
Yeah.
Like platforms that exist now that just come preloaded on your phone and are easier to use. But anyway, that was the artist formerly known. That shit's in the past. Going on to an actual like real Big Titty. I think it's San Diego Comic-Con. I haven't seen many of the updates from it, but the only one I'm going to talk about right now is Invincible news. After 2.5 goddamn years, they finally have been releasing a slew of news. They had that teaser. That was a Big Titty like 7 episodes ago. But now they have news to release the first 4. I don't understand why they have to break it up, but the first 4 episodes are coming out in November.
Yeah,
and
November
then early
3rd.
November like
3rd.
Oh, 3rd. Oh, November 3rd.
And then the final half is going to be early 2024. Well,
yeah.
I think it's the first 4 all that day.
No, and I thought it said weekly. I thought when I read a post, it said they were going to release weekly through the end of November, or December something.
I don't know. All I know is that this says the first 4 episodes of the season will begin airing. So
yeah. They're still going to do weekly, and then then they take a break in the beginning of 2024. But they also have said, because obviously there's other news involved. They also have said that there's gonna be a less of a break between season 2 and season 3.
Well, yeah, they said it's already done, right? Recorded wise.
They did the voice recording, but I mean, voice recording is probably the shortest part of an entire animated show. Like they could completely scrap what they've done now, and it wouldn't delay them a second. So that was just like like a way to appease fans, I think, who've been complaining about it being 2.5 years with essentially no news.
Yeah, it's been so long. I definitely need a rewatch before
which I am
2 comes out.
I just started rewatching it because I also watched the Adam Eve special, which Vinny over here has not, but there's not really a lot of spoilers involved. It's essentially a prequel where it just kind of shows you her origin. Like, why does she have her powers specifically? Like, they don't go into like Rexplode or any of these other humans that have powers too. But I think that they probably just aired this because I bet it's in the. So I don't know. I haven't read the comics because I'm really trying to keep myself like fresh, like a Invincible virgin, so I can just watch it instead of reading it and knowing all the information about it. But my guess is that this is in the comics as a couple of issues, and they didn't want to break up season 2 pacing wise in order to just have this episode air in the middle.
Well, I think that they came out as their own thing because when I was at the comic book store a couple days ago, and it could just be that it's like randomly like issue like 17 or whatever of Invincible, but they had like their own special compendium, and it was like Invincible for other heroes in the show. So like I think the Adam Eve one was there. So I don't know if it was titled like Adam Eve #1 or if it was titled Invincible #17.
Right.
But
Okay. It
yeah,
really looks like, I mean, it looks like they call it an invincible story or something is like the subtitle.
yeah.
But I mean, I feel like they wanted to tell this story for a reason, so I'm sure she's a big part of season 2.
Yeah.
But pacing wise, it would definitely kill whatever momentum season 2 had. I
Wait,
could
hang on.
tell from
I
the
am getting
episode.
a call. We need to pause for a second.
Okay. What was that?
We're back. My roommate called me because I am very anti dishwasher. I don't like using the dishwasher. So he said it every single time. So I just didn't know what if he did some special mode or something.
So wash the dishes by hand while he's gone.
No, it smells like fucking shit in there. The ones that he left in there before he left, I don't
Uh,
want to touch them. They smell fucking like, I don't know how to describe the smell emanating from there, but I hate it. It's every dishwasher. It's not just this one, but just nasty
mhm.
dishes sitting in there. I don't want them to touch my hands.
Yeah. That's like, I mean, Ben's a cool guy, but that's a little discourteous to leave without just running that last load
No, I
and
mean it
putting all
wasn't.
that
To be
stuff
fair,
away.
like it wasn't full. Like it had like 2 dishes in there, but like
Oh,
I'd rather just whenever I wash dishes, I'm just do it by hand usually.
I literally always do it by hand. I use the dishwasher as a drying rack. I just put all my shit in there to dry,
Oh,
and I leave the door open a little bit, like a crack, so the air, so that it evaporates,
mm-hmm.
and then I put it away like 24 hours later.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
gotcha.
anyways, back.
Important,
Yeah.
important stuff. Yeah, so I didn't forget where we were. So, yeah, the Adam Eve special, it's cool. It's like a backstory for. The only gripe I have with it is she seems way more powerful, or like not more powerful, but just cooler and more ingenuitive. In this when
Mm-hmm.
she's 12, which
Mm-hmm.
in the show she's like 16 or 17 or whatever. She's probably graduating high school, so she's close to 18, basically an adult. And all this cool stuff that she's doing, I let it go because I chalk it up to like she had the imagination of a child still,
Mm-hmm.
and so she was just coming up with cool things to do with her power. And now she's just more practical, and she doesn't need it to look like body armor. It just is a big shield, her energy stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that they're setting her up for what might have been in the comics like a really big power uh up, like
Mm-hmm.
a really big power surge,
Mm-hmm.
like basically like a time skip in anime, power up type deal.
Mm-hmm.
But Invincible news. I can't wait for season 2. I know they recorded season 3. I don't think that really means much with timing wise, but hopefully it's just like they know that fans really want more, so they'll actually get their asses in gear and do it. I
Yeah.
don't know what happened between. I'm not saying that they could have done it faster and didn't. I'm just saying like I hope that they do season 3 much faster than season 2.
Yeah. It always shocks me every time I get reminded that the guy who made Walking Dead made Invincible. Because like Walking Dead, it's fine, but it gets worse as you go on. I feel like, and hopefully
Mhm.
that doesn't happen to Invincible because Invincible's like much better than The Walking Dead.
It just seems like a cooler world, and since you have space, like outer space, aliens and stuff, there's just no end of ideas that you can do.
Yeah.
Walking Dead, like zombies are zombies, which
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of zombies, but you can't go anywhere from there unless you pull a full-on Naruto and say, "Oh, it's actually a space parasite."
Yeah.
So here come these aliens that are the zombie gods. They're
Mhm.
gonna come down and kill all the rest of the uninfected humans or something, like.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah. So for my big titty of the week, it is this right here.
Oops, it's Mike.
Yeah. I had to. Final Fantasy 16. If anyone's listening on Spotify, I got the collector's edition. This is the statue that it came with, Ifrit versus Phoenix. Obviously at this point it came out a while ago, but I'm still not done with it. I'm definitely gearing up towards the end. The game's split into 3 acts. I think I'm definitely in Act 3.
I think a lot of people aren't done with it still.
Yeah.
Like it's not like it came out 2 months ago, people.
Yeah. And also like I'm doing like all the side quests, all the hunts I'm trying to do. But I'm having a blast with it. I definitely think the review bombing that was going on, I don't think it's happening so much anymore. But there was definitely some review bombing going on, talking about how like it's like, oh, too easy, which it is kind of easy, but also those people had all of the accessories on that the game gives you for like accessibility reasons. Like there's one where like if you click square once, it'll execute a full combo, and people were being like, "This is too easy," and they had that on.
Mm.
Um, which like yeah, to be fair, I think I've died maybe twice in the game, and one of them was against level like 45 when I was 38 optional boss. Um, which I'll just go back and do. So it is kind of easy, but the story is really cool. The world is really cool. It has like very like Game of Thronesy like political vibes, which is cool.
Even as a Game of Thrones actor.
Who?
Sid is he's just a guy from the Iron Islands who betrays Theon Greyjoy
Oh, well, Sid
when
is
they come
his
in.
voice is awesome.
Yeah, I think he's more of iconic for his voice than he is for any of his actual
Yeah,
like acting roles. Even if it's like his face is there and it's live action, his voice is what people remember. It's kind of like Lance Reddick was.
yeah,
He had a whole presence about him, but his voice, if you heard that voice anywhere, you knew it. And
yeah,
if you heard Sid's voice anywhere, if you've ever seen him on TV or in movies, his face will appear right there in front of you like a hologram.
yeah. Um, but so like also like I've heard the combat was by the guy who did the Devil May Cry 5 or something, which I like
Mm.
the combat director for this was the same one for that. I don't know. I've never played Devil May Cry, but honestly, I might give it a shot because the combat is like super buttery in this.
Mhm.
Um, it's super cool, like because you get multiple summons throughout the game. Um, so it's really cool. It's almost like having a summoner in like any of these other games, almost like Yuna, summoner in 14, any of these summoners, but like with a sword. So it's super cool.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, so I'm still not done, but I'm loving it. I'll probably check back in on the pod once I beat it and give it my official ranking. But so far in my Final Fantasy Gauntlet listing, it's probably gonna be the top. But that's also just because what I've played so far is 7 and prior, which are all 2D, which I love 2D stuff, 2D turn-based stuff, but I think I at this point in my life prefer this kind of gameplay.
Yeah, just the norm. What
Yeah,
do you think about so I know the guy who did 14
Yoshi
is
P.
the game
Yeah.
director. What do you think about like the pacing? I heard
You
some
can
people have said the pacing is
you can
shit. Like
definitely feel like some of the especially like the side quests. Most of the main story it feels like a normal Final Fantasy game, and there definitely are some like lulls in the story. Um, but once when you do some of the side quests, you're like, holy frick, this feels like an MMO. Like there's
yeah,
a quest that's like, hey, go talk to these 3 people, and
even
that's
the
it.
hub looks like an MMO hub where you just pick up quests and then you go and do your business and come back, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Like yeah, the towns or whatever they are.
Um, yeah. Which people were also, I guess, like I think complaining about how it felt very hallway-y, but it does it. If you think like if you were fine with 13, you'll definitely be fine with this. It's way more open than 13 ever was, and people called
Mhm.
that hallway Final Fantasy, which I love 13.
Yeah,
Um,
13 doesn't open up until like Act 13 or like Chapter
yeah,
13 or something. Then you get an open world, but
yeah,
until then it's on rails. Yeah,
yeah. Also, like that's the other thing is like you basically fast travel everywhere, which I'm fine with because it's like I don't want to
good.
walk through like fucking boring shit. But
Yeah,
like
good.
you'll be at your hideaway and they'll be like, hey, we need to go to this area, and you'll do a little exploration from um like let's say I need to go to like some place in like a desert. I went to like some inn in the desert. Instead of walking from the hideaway all the way to the start of the desert, all the way to the inn, you'll just fast travel to the start of the desert and then walk to the inn from there.
Mhm.
So you fast travel a lot. Some people thought that was complaints. I think I'm fine with it. Less walking around doing shit, especially with there's no run button in this game, which is
Yeah.
insane. You can eventually, depending on the area that you're in, gain speed, and then you'll start running. But there's no button to just start running.
Mm.
Um, which in those same areas where you can gain speed, you can also through a side quest, get a chocobo, and he has a run button. So definitely you can like get faster, but it feels like it's crazy that there's not a run button in a 2023 release.
Yeah.
But overall, double thumbs up.
There you go.
But yeah,
And he's almost completely done with the game. Unless the ending is total trash, that's
yeah,
not going to change probably.
yeah, which I doubt. It will,
The
but
scale might change to a 1
yeah,
out of 10 instead of thumbs or like a
yeah,
star system. But then I don't know. There'll be a conversion chart somewhere online. You can find it.
yeah. Um, I guess next we can go into the movies and TV releases. So we already talked about Invincible. Something else that happened, which this again happened a while ago. I think it was almost a month ago today. I think it was like June 27th. Um, Clark Kent and Lois Lane have been officially cast in Superman Legacy. Um, I know nothing about either of them. I think you know something about Lois.
Well, she's Miss Maisel,
Yeah.
the marvelous Miss Maisel. She's won a ton of awards.
Um,
She's also attractive and looks more like Lois Lane than Amy Adams ever did.
yeah. It's David Corn Sweat and Rachel Brosnahan, which I'm sure I'm not saying correctly.
Rachel Brosnahan, I
Yeah,
think.
that one.
Brosnahan.
And this David guy seems visually like a good casting. Obviously, I've never seen him in literally anything.
Yeah, me neither.
But I trust James Gunn. What can I say? I think I saw some tweet the other day, which those aren't called tweets anymore, apparently. But we'll get into that later. That said James Gunn turned Invincible from or not Invincible, Peacemaker, from a character that literally nobody knew to he's in fucking Mortal Kombat 1 now. And his show is incredible. Like
I mean, I don't Marvel also did that with a ton of the list heroes and stuff to fill out their rosters. So I'm not as impressed by that. I'm not as impressed by that because that's what's being done now. They find heroes that people don't really know about, and then they just bring them into the foreground.
And sometimes it doesn't work out.
Sometimes it doesn't work out, yeah.
But I mean,
you could argue that that's John Cena did that as much as James Gunn did. So if it was someone else cast there.
But that just goes into the whole how much do you give a director credit? I think a director deserves a decent bit of credit.
Yeah, I would say he would deserve a decent bit of credit. I mean, ultimately he's the one who makes the decisions. Like the actor could be making all the right choices and the director could say, "No, I don't like the way you're doing it," and then ruin it.
Yeah.
You know.
But we've seen the combination of James Gunn in Guardians. We've seen how good he did in Peacemaker. I think like having a track record is like, oh, I don't trust him. Like, I don't know. I it doesn't make sense to me.
We'll see. I will say. I'm still not. I still think that I'm not gonna enjoy the Superman stuff. I think that Lois Lane is a fantastic casting, based on how she is in Miss Maisel, like the way that she talks. She could definitely.
This guy literally looks like a young Henry Cavill. I've seen that like everywhere before, or I even thought that before I saw it. Like it's just crazy that like people judge things so much to me. Like we know nothing about him, and visually he looks just like him, except younger, and that's what he wants. That's what James Gunn is going for—a younger Clark Kent, a younger Superman.
The thing is, Lois Lane doesn't look younger. How much older than Clark is she?
No idea.
Because I don't know how old Rachel Brosnahan is, but she's probably. I think I looked it up once. I think she's like the same age as me, and I'm ancient, so pretty sure she's pretty old.
I don't know.
For wanting a young casting. I know Lois Lane is older than Clark, but I don't think it's by much. Usually.
Hang on, let's see.
But I mean, it doesn't matter. Eventually, I'm sure I'll see it because you're gonna force me to see it.
He's 30.
But he's 30.
Yeah.
Isn't Henry Cavill only like 40? Or like turning 40? So this guy just looks a little bit younger.
I mean, 10 years.
He just wanted someone who. He's what?
10 years is 10 years.
Yeah, I know.
Henry Cavill is his Wikipedia page is long. Superman's. Oh, here we go.
Why didn't you just type in Henry Cavill?
I don't know. He is 40. Yeah.
40. Yeah. 10 years. I mean, 10 years is a big difference, but I mean,
but like for people to boycott this movie is fucking brain rot, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think people should boycott it. I think if you don't want to go see it for whatever reason, that's fine. But I wouldn't like. I mean, I petitioned against it because it's like a public. Like, what am I gonna do? I'm talking about my opinion here. But I'm not telling people that no one should see the movie. I'm just saying I don't want to. I'm not particularly excited for it.
Crazy to me.
That's fine. I'm wild. What can I say?
In other news, before I get more upset, Gen V is the Boys spinoff.
I saw like the trailer for it or whatever they released at SDCC.
Yeah, someone has like blood powers or something. It looks cool.
Yeah, looks like the main character
Um,
based on the trailer.
they're doing the first 3 episodes September 29th, and then airing weekly from November 3rd on. So October.
So I like the concept.
Is all null.
Yeah.
No releases, which is kind of weird.
I like the concept, which is that in this world people are kids and they have superpowers. Here's a superpower high school. Like a soup high school basically.
Yeah. Well,
which
college,
it didn't seem like from the
right?
what?
Isn't it college?
Is it whatever? But it didn't seem like that from any of the stuff leading up to it in the series so far. They never mention anyone being at a college. They knew each other just from like hero tours.
Well, we can probably
like,
assume
from
this is gonna like either this is like their first year and they fail, or they fail after a long running and someone sweeps it under the rug. But I don't think that if it's a prequel, I don't know if it's like concurrent with the Boys or a prequel, but if it's a prequel, the school's history is probably not going to end well, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
But yeah, that looks cool. Slight change of subject, but still the same. For weeb shit, Gear 5 has been officially gonna happen in 2 weeks from yesterday. August 6th. Yep.
Right on my birthday, right on time.
Yes, sir.
Just as I planned it 25 years ago. This started coming out.
So that's cool. A trailer came out with that, which I didn't really watch because I just kind of want to see the animation when it's.
Yeah, I'm not watching that. I'm not watching that. Like just seeing the teaser images are good enough for me.
Yeah.
I didn't even really care to see them.
The cool news is that Oda has a one-shot called Monsters that's getting an anime adaptation, and it's the one-shot that was actually written before One Piece started in 1994. That's canon to One Piece lore, and it follows Ryuma from Thriller Bark from Wano. He wrote it all before One Piece was even a thing, and then he just fit him into Thriller Bark years and years and years later.
And Zoro still carries his sword, yet.
Yeah. So.
Oh no, he doesn't.
Oh yeah, he gave it back.
He gave it back, but he carried it for a while.
But yeah, so that's really cool. I'm excited to see that animated because I think maybe once in a blue moon a long time ago I read the Wikipedia page, but because I was like I'll never read this, but I don't really remember anything. So that's cool. And then the last movies thing is I've seen one half of the Barbenheimer. I plan to probably go see Barbie only because literally everyone is telling me that it's incredible and I'm just skeptical. So I feel like I need to go see.
Huge box office.
I know.
Tons of
I know.
records.
I just don't like. My whole thing is like the cast is incredible. You got Ryan Gosling. You got Margot Robbie. I don't know the director too well, but
yeah, Will Ferrell.
The director apparently doesn't miss either, which I don't know her too well. I maybe have seen a movie or two, but I'm not as familiar with her as I am with Christopher Nolan. But even with all those things, at the end of the day, it is a Barbie movie. And it's just like, what can this plot do to me emotionally or visually that will blow my mind? Like, at the end of the day, it is a Barbie movie. But I'm willing to go in with open mind and enjoy it if it is good, and I'm sure it will be good. And that was the same thing when I went and saw Oppenheimer. I went in thinking this movie's gonna have, well, because I'm like a big action guy. I like action in my movies, so I was like, this is gonna have zero action. The movie's gonna end with spoilers. The bomb's not gonna blow up the world. I don't know if anyone knows that, but it's gonna go successfully. And 2, they're gonna drop the bomb on Japan. That all happens. So it's like, what can this movie do?
Yeah, it's historical.
Yeah, which I ate all my words. I gave it a 5 out of 5. I'm also on Letterbox now. All my friends are on Letterbox, so I finally made an account.
The hell is that?
It's like just like a movie app where you can like rate movies. Say you've watched movies. It's almost like Anime Planet, but it doesn't track your
It's
time.
like
Yeah,
I was
but
about to say it's like Anime Planet
yeah.
then. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so that movie's changed me on I think two things. One, I don't think I need like either like action or comedy or something to keep me interested because this movie had none of that, and I was like, it was riveting. Um, and two, I think I'm sold certain movies on IMAX. I was always like, this is stupid. It doesn't make sense. It's all placebo. Nothing's actually changing. Like the fact that you're getting more top, mid, bottom screen time in your consumption of the movie in your eyeballs, it's not actually improving the viewing. Like I think Spider-Man No Way Home, I don't know if it was filmed for IMAX or just like what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, but like specialized for IMAX like after the fact that it was filmed. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like that movie, I don't think I needed to see it in IMAX, and I still stand by that. But like for certain films that are filmed for IMAX, I think I'm sold. Like you gotta go IMAX. This shit, the bomb was crazy. I was like shaking in my seat, not from like fear, from the sound quality. It was so loud. It was awesome.
Mm.
But yeah, that's a big recommend. Um, if anyone can go to theaters, I definitely recommend theaters. I also definitely recommend IMAX. I don't think I would have had as good of a time if I saw it normally. Also like the cast was fucking insane.
Yeah.
RDJ, who like near the end of the movie isn't like a villain because this movie doesn't have villains, but like a more like antagonistic role. I think he needs more antagonistic roles as he ages up because he fucking killed it. I think he should definitely. I think like minimum, this movie is gonna get like 3 Oscar nominations. I think Cillian Murphy, whatever his name is,
Cillian.
Cillian Murphy,
I'm
definitely
pretty sure.
Best actor, whatever that actual award's called. I don't know. I think it's gonna get
Best actor.
a nomination for best picture, and I think RDJ is gonna get a nomination for best supporting actor. Like this shit was.
I mean, it's probably gonna get a ton more than that.
Yeah,
Like
no, I'm saying like
cinematography and all
yeah.
that
I
other
don't
stuff.
know. I don't
Yeah.
know those like named, but the ones that like I know, I think they're definitely gonna get nominations. I hope that a couple of them win. I know one of my friends was telling me he thinks that Ryan Gosling might get best supporting actor for Barbie instead, like win it. I'm sure they'll both get nominations. I don't know because I haven't seen Barbie who would actually win it, but incredible movie.
Mm.
For my Nolan list, I think Interstellar is still my 1, and I think Dark Knight is still my 2, and those are even interchangeable, but this is definitely 3. I really liked it, surprisingly.
I'm a really big fan of The Prestige.
That's like that is like my 4.
critically
I
acclaimed.
love The
Yeah.
Prestige. It is a sleeper because no one knows about it, but it's so good.
It's so good. But it's like his worst rated movie, which is
Yeah.
like a shame because it doesn't. I mean, he has just top notch movies, but
Yeah.
it doesn't. It deserves to be. I think it personally deserves to be above like the stuff like Tenet. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that was quite as interesting. I think you have to factor in how engaged you are in the movie and how interesting you find it when you do something like that. But people only rate it based on like cinematography
Yeah.
and all these other like hard like categories that you can rate somehow and try to compare with actual statistics. But pure enjoyment of a movie, that should factor in somehow.
Yeah. But yeah, so I watched that this week, and then yesterday I watched Train to Busan, which I think was my first Korean movie ever, because I never saw Parasite, which I still need to see apparently. But that shit was crazy. If anyone's seen Bullet Train, it's like if Bullet Train started the apocalypse, the zombie apocalypse, but like the zombies, they transform within like a minute of getting bit. It's fucking crazy.
Mm.
But yeah, that was very good. I'm gonna try and watch more movies, especially because I'm on Letterbox now. So my 2 that I saw this week were Oppenheimer, that I gave 5 out of 5, and Train to Busan, which on the app I gave a 4 out of 5. But in reality, I would have given a 4.25 out of 5. I just couldn't specify that much on the app.
Right. Okay.
So this
It
will
would have
be a
gotten like 1 and a little bit of a star, like one
yeah,
of the little
exactly.
outcroppings.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so that maybe this will be a segment, especially if I'm watching new movies. But I'll always say what I saw
Well,
and say what I ranked it.
I have an AMC A list now, so in order to make that worth it, you have to go to at least like 2 movies
Yeah,
a month. You get 3 free movies a week. I mean, you could just see
yeah,
every fucking
that's
movie that
crazy.
comes out. So, and you can do anything. I could do IMAX, same as just going to some regular shit showing at one of their worst theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the only thing I saw recently was The Blackening, which is
Oh,
like,
you told me that, and it was very
yeah,
bad.
it's like, I wouldn't say very bad. I don't think it was nearly as funny as the people in my group that wanted to see it thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was clearly tailored to a black audience. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that much is obvious. But it had some moments where it was just seriously like I was laughing like crazy in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
It just wasn't as much as like probably the director and the writers would have wanted from
Gotcha.
as a reaction. It's like the new version of a parody on horror movies.
Mm.
Um,
Well, that's
but
always been you talking like scary movie, like
yeah,
yeah.
but it's more based in as like one scary movie. It's actually trying to be a scary movie while also being a comedy and a parody. Like
Oh.
there are some tense moments, there's some jump scares, things like
Mm-hmm.
that. Like in scary movie, I don't think that anyone ever expects maybe a jump scare or two, but not for it to be actually scary. Like it's just over the top ridiculous. This
Mm-hmm.
at least has a plot where there's actual horror-ish stuff going on, but the
Gotcha.
characters just aren't taking it as seriously as you would expect in a real horror movie
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Um. Oh, and before I forget, going back to Oppenheimer, just in case this gets anyone to go to the theater, Florence Pugh, who is Yelena Bolivar or whatever in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, she's naked in this movie for more than you'd expect. So if that gets anyone to the
Christopher Nolan
theater,
knows what he's doing.
yeah.
He knows what he's doing. He's the
apparently,
people's director.
because there's one scene where she's naked in a chair, and they're each in a chair in a room, and they're both naked. And in some countries, I don't know where exactly, they're just putting a black dress on her to censor it, which is hilarious because the whole point of this movie was that it has no CGI at all. The bomb, everything was no CGI. Um, and then they CGI'd a dress on her for some countries, which is hilarious.
Yeah, there are some countries that are like that. I mean, to be honest, I mean, America's not the loosest with its restrictions on that stuff.
Yeah. Um,
But
Oh, and the last movie thing, this ties into the question. So all of my friends have like a guy. So two of my friends have the same guy, and it's Ryan Gosling. And it's like they've seen literally every single one of his movies. Every single one of them they love. Like he is their guy. I'm on a journey now to find my guy. And I have some contenders. But I think if someone's your guy, you can't not like any of their movies. Like I was thinking like Hugh Jackman. He could be my guy. He's cool as fuck. Like some of
he's
the
been in a
early
lot.
he's
Of
been in a
movies,
lot
though.
and some of the early X-Men movies aren't the best. So I don't know if he can be my guy. But so my question to the audience is if you have a guy, who is your guy?
I don't think it has to be a guy either. It could be
Yeah, who's
your
your
girl?
actor?
Who's your actor?
Theoretically I would have each one.
Yeah, I
But
think
I'm just
so.
on the search for my guy right now.
I can't even think of who it would be because you would think default Henry Cavill, but I don't think so. I haven't seen all of his stuff.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's someone who I've definitely, without a doubt, seen every single movie that they've been in, which is tough.
I was also thinking maybe Brad Pitt could be my guy.
He's
But-
definitely been in a ton of stuff that you haven't seen though back in his early career.
Exactly.
That's the thing. You have to like look at their whole list. I would say that they could be your guy if you've seen more than 50% of their movies, especially
Yeah.
if they have a long
Yeah.
resume.
Yeah.
Like Brad Pitt's been in Hollywood since he was like 18, maybe younger. It's like Leo DiCaprio. He started as a child actor. He's still acting in
Yeah.
Hollywood in like a movie a year or something.
Yeah.
It's tough to keep up.
All right, we could do 50%, but yeah, so that's the rules on having a Hollywood guy or gal. And that's my audience. If anybody has one, let us know.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I've probably seen like most of what Steve Carell's been in.
Also,
Like I'm going based on just how much I've seen at this
yeah.
point, trying to figure out who I would like.
Also, a factor of being the guy is if this person was cast in a movie, you would see it just for them. Like that was
Yeah.
one of the reasonings that these two friends went to go see Barbie was partially just for Ryan Gosling.
Yeah. The secret was really Margot Robbie.
Yeah. That could be my gal, maybe.
Yeah, because she's still pretty young and hasn't been in a ton of movies. Have you seen Focus? I think she was in that.
Is that
That's
the one with Will Smith?
Will Smith, yeah.
I keep seeing it on TikTok.
I've seen it. It's okay. It's not the best. Like it might make her not your girl, but it's not for her fault.
Yeah.
She's not like the star of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I don't want to get stuck too much on it. I actually have to think about this one because I kind of want to come back next,
either
next
next
pod
week
with a guy
or
or
if
a
you think
girl
of something
least.
by the end, yeah. We could
I mean, Henry Cavill could be my guy because I've definitely seen more than 50% of his stuff. I've even seen Count of Monte Cristo, but I was also thinking Jim Caviezel. He was in Person of Interest, but he was also Jesus in Passion of the Christ. But he didn't do a ton of movies though. But he was the Count of Monte Cristo, it's just an awesome fucking movie. It has the first not Gandalf. It has the first Dumbledore as the guy in prison who teaches him how to like escape and where all his treasure is because he's the main guy who actually stole all the shit.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a good movie. That's actually a recommend that I would give. And Henry Cavill's in it. he's the kid. So it might have been his first role ever, but he actually looked. You can when you see him, you'll be like, that's fucking Henry Cavill.
Damn.
But yeah, we can move on.
All right.
I also have a question, which is, for my birthday, what should I get?
This is such a fucking stupid question. I don't know. I don't live your life.
That's a question to the audience. What would they want?
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. I just never know what to tell people. I have most of the stuff that I want, and if I don't have it yet, it's probably because it's cost $1,000.
I think you need to decorate the other wall.
I have a ton of stuff I could decorate with, but we're moving.
That's true. Yeah.
So why the fuck would I put it all up? And I don't think I'm gonna have a wall behind me in the new place
at all.
That'll be season 3. Well, I'm gonna be in the basement. It'll be way in the distance. One side of the basement is gonna be facing. Maybe I'll have a wall to my right, but it's probably gonna be cinder blocks. It's not gonna be easy to put stuff up on.
Yeah, so season 2 is gonna be short.
Yeah,
so that's gonna be season, and then after that, like who knows when the season 3 might last for like 100 episodes.
Season 3 might last like a really long time because my girlfriend's already said that this is the last time she moves before we get a house. So
yeah, you guys have moved like a lot. I feel like have you been here a year?
The second time. Yeah, just 1 year. Just 1 year.
I feel like you just moved like last month.
That's you. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, so another thing I want to talk about that pisses me off. Fuck Elon Musk. Twitter is now X apparently. It's changed on my browser.
It changed the logo. Did it change its name?
Well, I don't know because he responded to a tweet. This dude's a fucking troll as fucking CEO of a billion dollar company, and he's a troll online. So he's all here like someone was like, "What will tweets be called now?" Because if the bird's not there, they're like, "Oh, they're gonna be called an X." Is that a troll?
That's so dumb. That's like so dumb. Yeah, you can never tell. You can never tell when he's when he's being serious.
Because then if a tweet's called an X, then we have to change retweet. Is that gonna be called a re-X?
About.
Like I have no idea.
So on their about page, it's still Twitter.
But if you go to @Twitter, it's their username is X now.
Yeah, but he just likes that fucking letter, and I didn't realize this.
This is like the 4th time.
Told me. But you know what? I was like, so it's space X. It's like whatever his communication system is. I think he has an X. I was like, why the hell is it not Texla or like Zexla or like Zesla or whatever? And then B Smells, Barrison Smelly was like, well, all the models of a Tesla spell out sexy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that there was a Model 3. Otherwise, I probably would have picked up on that. I knew there was an S, an X, and a Y. And I think at one point I probably thought he was like trying to do sexy and he didn't want to do a Model E because it's like electric and people would just it seems too generic. But then I didn't realize there was a Model 3, which Leet Speak. He's going to use Leet Speak, of course. It's just he can never add a new model now. Unless unless he does I and M, Model I and Model M, and it's just I'm sexy.
That's funny. That would be funny as shit.
Yeah, I don't know. Their about page, it says X, and then it's @Twitter. Like he hasn't changed it. How would you do @X?
Yeah.
That's the part
I
that
just
sucks too. Like you can't do an @ symbol and then one letter for a username. That's just
I
ridiculous.
just don't get how he had that poll so long ago that was like, "Hey guys, if you don't like me, vote on this poll, and if it gets like if it votes yes as the majority, I will step down." And he stepped down and he put some other woman in command,
As
and
CEO.
he's
But
still out here doing shit.
he's still the owner. He can still
I
tell her what to
know
do. He can fire her.
exactly. So
So
it's like,
he's
what
still
was
in
the point of
control.
that
It's so
tweet?
dumb.
I hate him.
It's so he's not involved in the day to day, I guess, all the time. But big decisions like this, they have to run by him, or he just makes himself.
Yeah.
So it looks like there's an X Corp, which he might have already had.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go to the about on Twitter and you go to the bottom, it says the copyright is 2023 X Corp, like CORP period.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Twitter platform, and then there's X Corp about the company.
Mm.
So he's probably just.
Oh,
But
also, if you
why?
go to the App Store page for Twitter, when it says like the owner of it or whatever, yeah, there too it says X Core already.
Yeah.
Someone was like,
That's
"Who the fuck does he think he is? Like Lex Luthor or something? Lex Corp?"
He probably does.
It's crazy.
He
This
probably does.
this dude is gonna bring about the end of the world. I think I
It's
can firmly say that.
it's funny how when Threads came out, he was like, "Oh, I spent all this money for Twitter," and then the Zuck just hit copy and paste. It's like, yeah, I know, because you're ruining Twitter.
Yeah.
So he put he put a version of Twitter up that people are probably gonna be like, "This is what Twitter should be,"
Mm-hmm.
at least for now. You know.
Like,
Um,
I don't know.
I liked OTK tweeted
Yeah.
something. I don't follow too many people, but their tweet was funny. After 3 years, OTK is officially being rebranded as Twitter, as the name just became available. So like that's hilarious. I don't know if they were the first people that did it, but the first ones I saw.
Yeah, same.
And Asmund, his group is at least funny at times, and I think that's probably directly from Asmund's mind. He probably said that the second that the news broke. He said it in like some meeting about at OTK, and they were like, "Let's tweet it."
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
which, by the way, did you make a Threads?
No.
You made a Threads?
No. I will go on it.
No, you haven't.
I will go on it once I need to.
I was within the first 10 million.
Really?
Fisher was in the first 3 million, and he was like, "I
Damn.
just finished setting it up." I was like, "Oh, I'll set it up then too. Why not? You know, I'll just claim my username." But you don't need to. It's
Yeah.
tied to Instagram. So if you have the Instagram username, you have the Threads username.
Yeah.
You can't change it.
You can't change
So
it.
I didn't
And
realize
if you
that,
ever
or I probably wouldn't have
close,
set it up.
if you close your Threads account, you have to close your Instagram or something after you make it.
And you
Which,
need
like,
to open an Instagram if you don't have
Yeah.
one in order to make a Threads.
Which is
too,
like,
yeah.
at the end of the day, it's like, who cares, right? Because it's like you could just delete the app and not close your account. It's just a weird stipulation. Like you have to close one to close the other or something.
It's weird that they tie it together because it's
Yeah.
not like you need a Facebook to have an Instagram. It's not like you need an
Exactly.
Instagram to have a Facebook. And I know they bought that after, and this one they made. But still, who wants to do that? Like, I mean, Google kind of forces people to do it, but Google are just apps that
Yeah.
you can ignore. Like you can, if you're gonna have a Google account because you're gonna have a Gmail.
Exactly.
If you're a human that's living on the planet Earth right now, like you're gonna have a Gmail, right? So you're already gonna have it. So it's not as big a deal. But this one it is a little bit of a weird thing. But I actually had a good idea for my first one. I just haven't done it. And I should have done it a long time ago. Now it's not gonna make any fucking sense. I was gonna post, and I probably still will do this because fuck it. Like I want to get more of a presence on social media. I was gonna post. Do you think if a thread and a tweet touched, the universe would implode? Well, let's find out. And then I was gonna put touch on Twitter, just no context whatsoever, and I was gonna like reply to that one with that post, and then put touch underneath that as a reply to myself. And then when the universe inevitably didn't explode, I was gonna be like, "That's disappointing,"
Unless
and then
it
just
does.
move on from that.
And you
Unless it
bring
does,
about, yeah.
Dragon Rider Jack kills us all. He did it. I got in before Elon could do it.
I was thinking, or I was listening to a podcast today, and it was talking about Oppenheimer, and they were talking about like the doomsday clock and all that, and how like we're inevitably all gonna die from nuclear warfare. And one of them was getting like real scared, and he was like, "Do you think like that's gonna happen in our lifetime?" And like one of the guys was like, "Maybe," and I started freaking out. I was like, "Really?" Like listening to this, I was like, "Is this gonna happen in our lifetime, where our face is gonna melt off?"
I don't think we're gonna end up with another Cold War situation. There's too much defense in place now. Like you can detonate a bomb or make it inactive,
but here's the thing:
neutralize it.
Oppenheimer made the atomic bomb when that was unheard of. What if they're making some shit right now that's fucking unheard of, blows up the whole United States? I mean, it would be over quickly at least, but and I'm smack dab in the middle. If they're targeting somewhere to get the whole U.S., I'm instantly fried.
I mean, I'm on the East Coast.
You
I'm
might
right
get
by
some
Washington D.C.
radiation.
I'd be toast too. I'm like within well, not 100, but I'm within like 300 miles of DC. So
Do you
I'd be
remember
fucked.
that like Hawaii message when like they accidentally sent like a missile is headed towards Hawaii or whatever? It was like
No,
an emergency on all phones in Hawaii, and it was like, "Warning: a missile is headed towards you," or something like that.
it was
That
probably
would,
supposed to be a test.
yeah, that shit would
Yeah.
scare the fuck out of me. I would fucking like go into a fucking panic. I don't even know what I would do in that situation. But I think it was under Trump, and everyone was so mad that day.
I mean, what
Rightfully
would you
so.
do? You're on Hawaii. Unless you're a pilot and standing next to your plane, you're fucked.
Yeah,
So yeah, I don't know. There's nothing you can really do about it.
that shit was
But
crazy.
it would be terrifying to me. But I mean, like that was what the Cold War was, what like our parents or grandparents lived through or whatever. And I mean, nothing came of it. That was the
But
closest we've
what's the
actually
doomsday
been to
clock?
doomsday. The doomsday clock is like just how close we
Because
are
apparently
to
it's 90 seconds to midnight right now.
and
And
it
it
moves
was
back and forth.
110. Oh, it does. I thought it only goes
In
forward.
I think it can go back and forth because I think during the Cold War it was way closer than 90 seconds.
Oh.
I think, I'm not an expert on the fucking doomsday clock because no one references that anymore because the threat of like mutually assured destruction
Yeah.
is like non-existent. Like so many countries are being de-armed. It's really just like America's not going to get rid of their nukes because we consider ourselves the world's police for some ridiculous reason.
Mm-hmm.
And Russia, whatever country is our antagonist at the time, is going to have their own nukes.
Yeah.
So
I was
Russia
also
right now.
I always wondered like why did we send 2 to Japan? And the movie explained it. I'm sure this is like a known fact. I just didn't know. But they were like, we're gonna send one to show them how much one bomb can do, and then
Mhm.
we're gonna send another one to show that we can keep doing it over and over again. And I was like,
Yeah,
God damn, that's
I
some.
think the second one like slightly bigger too or something.
Was it? I don't
I
know.
feel like it was slightly bigger, maybe that's a lie. But yeah, I knew that it was like the example to the world, like, hey, war
Yeah,
is over,
don't fuck with us.
or
But what's
we'll do this to
crazy
everybody.
is like yeah, I get it because like everyone was in a race to build one and you had to show that you had one. But like they were saying if the war went on like a week later, a month later, Japan was gonna surrender. Hitler was dead at that point. Germany was done. It was just us and Japan. Like in terms of military might, we were gonna beat them either way.
Yeah,
But and then we just fucking overkill. That's crazy.
yeah. But I mean, now they've rebuilt as like a utopian society.
Yeah.
So
And
I mean,
everyone goes there
it's a
for
horrible thing that happened to them. But I
yeah.
mean, it may have set in motion them becoming like the technological superpower. And the thing that America really does all the time when there's a war is like if we win and we totally fuck up that nation, we go in and rebuild their infrastructure for them. We
Yeah.
let ours crumble, potholes as far as the eye can see. But wherever we bombed, they're going to have the best train system, highway system, the cleanest energy that we can possibly develop for them at the time
And don't we have
because we
that
just don't want to redo
structure?
all of our own shit.
Like, don't we
What?
have like underground like bullet train like capabilities or something in the U.S. that go from like the East Coast to the West Coast? It's just that we don't implement them or something, but they exist. I thought I read that somewhere.
I don't know if the tunnels exist or like if the tracks exist. They might. But like it gets in it's a weird thing. It's definitely a weird thing. I mean, I am definitely getting way out of my element here, but I know it probably involves a lot of like the way the states interact with each other because if one train line goes across to state boundaries, there'd be different regulations.
Mm.
It would have to be like a federally controlled one, which then goes into like socialism. They control transit, and then people like probably start freaking out
But isn't that already a thing
about
with
it a
like an
bit.
Amtrak? Like you can take an Amtrak from like Illinois to
You,
St. Louis.
yeah, you can go to specific destinations, and I mean, at one point, railroads were the way of travel, but now that airlines exist,
Yeah.
I think a lot of railroads just kind of went defunct, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe it exists, but they'd have to be totally like repurposed and rebuilt and stuff like that.
Mm.
I think that they still exist for transport of goods, but not for bullet trains. Like
Yeah.
we're talking about like those trains that are literally like 4 miles long,
Mm-hmm.
just of coal and other resources and goods,
Mm.
which also we ship, we fly.
If
If you go
we
to an
had
airport, you see huge FedEx planes fucking everywhere.
If we had Japan's speed, because I assume Japan's like the top bullet train speed, right, in the world.
Yeah, I think they are.
If we had their speed, how long would it take to go from coast to coast?
I think they go at like 300 miles an hour, so probably like 10 hours, right?
That's
I'm terrible at
crazy.
geography too. I don't know. You keep getting me out of
Yeah.
my element. I try to be the smart person on the
Yeah.
pod, but Vinny's stumping me. But
Mm-hmm.
also, we're probably about equally as smart,
Yeah.
to be honest. I'm just so much older that I
Mm-hmm.
can
He
call
has more
upon more
worldly
experiences.
experiences.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that'd be good to Google
Yeah.
or just
We'll
like
come
leave
back
the
next
question to the
time.
audience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys answer for us.
And I
That's
want, and
question of the week too. Didn't you have a third one?
well, besides the birthday thing,
Oh, I
no,
forgot that was your
I
thing. Yeah.
wanted to, so I do want to, I don't know how much time we really are at because of the pause and stuff. How much time we at?
We're only at 55 minutes.
Oh, okay. We have plenty of time then. Because
Yeah.
I do want to do the next thing, which is Nintendo Direct.
Mm-hmm.
So we did all of the showcases, and then Nintendo's like, all right, here's our Direct after these two guys record their podcast specifically.
Yeah.
Those fucks.
I have a list of the big stuff from Nintendo themselves. So
Yeah.
we'll go through that, but let's go through the smaller stuff first that seems potentially interesting. So like
All right,
Sonic
but I want to start with this though.
Oh, you
Hold
want
on.
to start with the big one?
I just want to start with like the thought, the leave behind thought here is I totally forgot that this happened. And my friend Fisher Phoenix was watching the podcast and at work messaged me and goes, "This is really entertaining." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Because you're talking about these showcases." I was like, "Yeah, but why is that entertaining? I mean, you watched them yourself." And he didn't give me an answer. So, like, he reminded me about this, but if anyone's watching on YouTube or anywhere or X at us, sex us, whatever the fuck he's gonna call it, we like whatever feedback you have, like please send it. I don't care how. It could be in either one of our Discords. Anything we're doing right, anything we're doing wrong, anything we can improve.
Yeah.
Like it is one of my goals that was one of my fucking New Year's resolutions, and here we are 7 months later. I want to take all this stuff way more seriously.
Mm-hmm.
So I really want to get us
like if we had like so much feedback that was like, hey, love the podcast, don't love the anime talk. We can 100% talk about that shit in our own time. We can 100% like lessen the shit.
We could just leave them as their own episode.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to not. Yeah. I mean, I want to pod about what I want to pod about. I mean, the content is fine. I'm talking about like the things that we do. If we interrupt each other too much, if we say like too much, which are things that just from rewatching it, I've taken upon myself as feedback. I know I interrupt Vinny a lot, and I try not to. But like,
that's okay.
But I don't want the train of thought with no breath to happen, and then 5 minutes later, I'm like, oh, by the way, 5 minutes ago, I wanted to say this.
Yeah.
So there's like a balance there. But any few you have, what do you find entertaining? What do you think is annoying or can be improved upon? And don't say the releases because we are working on it, like the release schedule.
It's gonna be more consistent now.
Yeah, even with me moving, the only time we're gonna have a break is just when I'm in Japan.
Yeah,
which then we're gonna have tons to talk about because I'm gonna have come back from fucking Japan.
Wait, so how long are you gonna be there? A month?
We're trying to iron it out now because now like my girlfriend who's going for work has realized they don't really need her there and she doesn't want to leave for a month and a half if she's not going to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So she's trying to restructure it with them where maybe she'll just go earlier, like when they're doing like these trainings, she'll train them. I'll fly out the next week. We'll spend like 10 days, 2 weeks on vacation there for her birthday. And then I'll come back and she'll spend like an extra like 5 days or whatever doing their launch.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what she's gonna try and pitch them now. So I'm probably gonna be. I'll be gone for at least 10 days, probably more like 2 to 3 weeks. But we're also trying to figure out how not to leave the dogs alone or like in PetSmart for a financially crippling amount of time.
Wait, when you fly from East Coast, do you have to go all over Europe?
No.
Oh, so you go.
That is much further away.
I was gonna say
this is a. I think it's like a 17 to 19 hour one way no stop flight.
Damn.
And if her company flies or she goes first class, I'd be the asshole stuck in coach, I would probably actually just splurge for first class and then pay it off over the next 2 years.
I'm sure like first class would be, especially for 19 hours, would be kind of worth it.
Yeah, if it's that long of a flight for sure. But if she gets out of this, the plan probably would be like layover in Hawaii, spend a whole day there, like a 22-hour layover, and then like nap and then go on the next flight, next
Mm.
leg of the flight, and go to Japan. Then on the way back, probably just do one way.
Yeah.
Like a non no layover flight. But yeah, we're trying to figure it out. But I will be gone for an extended period of time. I'm gonna bring my laptop. I could bring a headset. The audio might be slightly different, but I think we would still probably be able to do something.
Yeah.
If we really are consistent by then through the move and everything, we want to keep the momentum
Here we go.
going. I mean, it's gonna be around when Spider-Man comes out and stuff too.
Which Spider-Man?
I think. And that's like
October,
right? Yeah. Like
podcast content.
Yeah.
You have to pick out gifts for me, and then you have to ship me a care package, and then I open it on the podcast. There we go.
I have to spend a ton of money in Japan.
Not a ton,
including shipping.
No.
Including shipping from Japan. Let's look up the prices. Before we promise this, we're gonna look up the prices.
Mm-hmm. I'll pay for the shipping.
Okay.
Anyways, that's all to say. Give us your feedback because we're gonna talk about more showcases right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Nintendo Direct happened a little over a month ago for us, and for you guys if this goes up when it's planned to. So there's like 5 for us that we care about, there's like 3 good big things. But some of the smaller things, there's a new Sonic game coming out, a new 2D Sonic, which again
that did look cool.
That's what I was gonna say because I know you messaged me about that. 4-player co-op, brand new 2D side scroller.
I think that I was watching on IGN, and they had like the post showcase, the post direct thing,
Mm-hmm.
and so they said it's 60 frames per second, but not when you have multiplayer. So like by yourself, it's 60 frames per second, and then otherwise not, which shocks no one because honestly, playing Tears of the Kingdom, I'm getting a ton of frame rate issues and slowdown. So that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Still looks fun as fuck though.
Yeah. Never played a Sonic game still, but this might be my first. Or everyone here probably knows my Twitch channel. I do redeemed games. I know someone's planning on redeeming Sonic Frontiers, so depending on if I get through the list first, maybe that'll be my first game. Other cool stuff, I think we already talked about Persona 5 Tactica. That's if we haven't, basically the SRPG, which is like Fire Emblem, like XCOM, but Persona 5.
Like a tactics.
Yeah.
There's a tactics game.
Yeah.
In that universe, yeah.
Gotham, Arkham games are for some reason coming to Switch. Who cares?
15 years later.
15 years later, and it's like, how can they run that good at the end of the day? I don't know.
And you still expect them not to run as good as like on PS3.
Yeah.
That's the hardware we're dealing with on Switch. It's insane.
Yeah. We definitely need like a Switch 2 coming out soon.
We need Nintendo to just be like, all right, let's make an actual current gen console.
Yeah.
Not like let's reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, like
let's make a powerful console, please. And revamp online.
100%. But I will say I think that the selection of games need to be improved 100%, but the concept is cool for just like your online having those games.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, other cool stuff. A new Detective Pikachu's coming out, which I've never played, but I saw the movie. I thought it was cool. Maybe I'll play the first game. Maybe I'll play this one. Who knows?
Yeah, I didn't even know it was a game, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, this isn't just a movie? This wasn't just a movie concept? Okay.
Yeah. There's a remake of Star Ocean, which I've never played one of those games, but apparently it's the second Star Ocean game that's coming to Switch. I think they're like Final Fantasy, where you don't need to play them to.
But I think they're more themed in like outer space, aren't they? Like they're more themed in intergalactic stuff. Like you can travel between planets instead of just like a nation, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I might be thinking of a totally different game, but I did hear that Star Ocean 2 is a great entry in the series. Yeah. And so it's a great choice for them to redo and try to get more people involved in that series again.
So yeah, if that's good, I might play it. And then the last one is a new WarioWare game, I think, for Switch, which those games are always fun.
Some people were nutting over this. I don't understand the appeal of WarioWare too much. Like, it's just like a light version of Mario Party that you play by yourself.
Yeah.
But like, I can see why people are like enjoy it, but there are some people who said it was the best announcement that came out of
that's crazy.
The Direct, which is absolutely
and I'll tell you why
bananas.
That's crazy, because the next I'm gonna name all 5. I only care about 3 of them. So the 2 that I don't care about, there's a new Dragon Quest Monsters game. Don't even know anything about it, but it's in like the there's a separate section for the hype shit and the less hype shit, and this isn't the hype shit. So that's cool, I guess. Pikmin, which I've never played. You've played only an hour. Not for you. I've never played it.
Yeah.
Might check it out. I know they're releasing Pikmin 1 and 2 on the Switch, which is always cool. Accessibility for older games.
Yeah, they already did. I think like the day of the Direct, they released it.
Yeah.
They released those two, yeah.
So there's that. So you can play 1 through 4 now on the Switch. And I think, the 4 just came out a little bit ago.
I didn't even realize
like 3
that it
days
passed
ago.
its release date.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that had come out because I absolutely hated Pikmin. I don't like the concept of just throwing these fucking things at stuff to have them carry it back to your ship while they're being attacked by giant bugs and you can't defend them really.
Yeah,
like,
I've literally
Olimar can't die.
When I say I've never seen, like, I've never played it, I've never even seen a video on it. Like, if someone had showed me Pikmin gameplay, I wouldn't guess Pikmin probably.
I bet you if it gets redeemed for you, you'll play it and you'll be like, you know what, that was more fun than I expected. But it's you'll if you try to do a convince me segment, I'll just punch you through the computer. Like I absolutely do not like Pikmin.
What if you if you only played the first one, what if the fourth one is like insane?
I don't like the core mechanics of it, like the whole concept of it.
But what if they change it to where you can defend your little bitches?
If they give me like some sort of laser sword and I'm a Jedi with these Pikmin, yeah, sure, fine.
I'll report back.
Then I'll give it. Then I'll give it.
The stuff that's like medium excitement level. There was some new news on the DLC for Scarlet and Violet. That's cool, I guess. I'll probably play it. I beat all of Violet. And now the hype shit. Super Mario RPG is officially getting a remake, which is insane. I thought this was unheard of because of the whole like that puppet bitch in the game. I thought they lost copyright to him. Whatever.
Well, it's the final. It's just Square Enix. Yeah. Square Enix. Apparently, it's not Enix. I've said Square Enix my whole life. Based on English, Enix is the proper pronunciation, but whatever. So it's because they created the game, so they owned the rights to the non-Mario characters because they invented them themselves. And Gino just happens to be one of them. So I think it's also like the Cloud guy. I think has never been in a Mario game, but he looks like a Huff and Puff kind of guy. So maybe he might have been like a gray area on who owned the rights to him. But Gino specifically is someone who people have wanted to see in Smash like since Melee. Yeah. Since the second game, once they expanded the roster. And they've always just said, no, we don't have the rights to Gino. But now, if they're re-releasing it and remaking it, there's got to be some sort of talks in there where now they have some sort of access to the rights.
Yeah.
That's why that's big news in that regard. But the game just looks so good. And they stick, I think, with the same soundtrack from the first game, but they up it out of like the 8-bit era into the current gen soundtrack kind of stuff. People were like literally creaming their pants over the soundtrack.
Yeah, it looks awesome. Like they were even comparing in the trailer side by side with the original and the remake, and it looks a 1-to-1 comparison. Like, and that's how you need to do a remake. Whenever I think of an ideal remake, which hopefully like this one will also be start of my like examples of ideal remakes, but like Spyro, that trilogy is incredible in terms of a remake. Crash. Like all of those games, if this is anything like that, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. And it definitely looks like they are doing that. Like it looks like they're doing the right thing. They might add something new here or there or whatever, which is fine. But core mechanics, core gameplay, the soundtrack, the world, the characters, the dialogue, keep it very much the same.
Like if for whatever reason,
something
like
that might not be acceptable.
There's that Yoshi mini game or whatever where you have to like. I think it's like a song type thing where you have to like place your Yoshi to like do the tune or whatever. If that changes for whatever reason, I don't care about a mini game. But if like the story's the same, the gameplay's the same, all that, thumbs up.
If you make quality of life improvements, absolutely, that's totally fine. If you make overarching changes that make the game not the same, then fuck you. Yeah. Basically.
Like I hope that I know it's for sure in Paper Mario, which you could argue that this is a spiritual predecessor to Paper Mario. Like
this is the original Mario RPG.
Yeah, like the timing on your hits. I think that was in this game.
Yeah,
hopefully that's in the remake.
You can even do a jump infinitely, which was impossible in Paper Mario. They took that out, but in this one you can literally jump infinitely in like
that would be
infinite bounce.
To see. Yeah,
like there was strategies where you had to do that against. There is some sort of optional, extremely difficult boss that's in the original. That's a Final Fantasy boss that like you go through this door and you're in the Final Fantasy dimension instead of Mario's anymore. and it's
Really?
like the hardest boss in the game by far, but it's 100% optional. I don't know what you get, but it's even based on Final Fantasy like from the day. So this is a boss with 4 crystals,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to attack like the crystals, and it's real a lot of strategy, a lot of items. I saw Nintendo Capri Sun face it, but he had to do like an infinite bounce strategy to try and
Mm.
take this thing's health anywhere close to killable.
Gotcha. And then the last thing is finally a new 2D side-scrolling Mario game called Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and it's gonna feature an elephant Mario, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Besides that, we don't know too much. I mean, we've seen some gameplay, but I'm super excited for it. All of those games are also coming out end of the year, which is a little scary because our end of the year is jam packed. We got Spider-Man 2, Super Mario RPG, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, more stuff that I'm probably forgetting.
Oh yeah,
It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, right, and we're already in the period where it picks up. Like 16 came out.
Mm-hmm.
Tears of the Kingdom may have like launched it, like actually kicked it off of like new releases coming out. You're gonna have to buy. It's funny because
are you trying to do everything in that game? By the way,
which one?
Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears?
Or are you just trying to
No.
do what you can find?
I'm just doing what I can easily do, easily find. I'm not gonna do every core hawk. I'm not gonna do every shrine if I can't find them. I mean, the light roots help.
Mm-hmm.
Light roots, every light root being connected to every shrine on the surface helps.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to do. There are a couple of things that I have in mind that I still want to do. I just got the 4th sage.
Yeah.
So I think that I've heard that there's like another temple that you can do. I don't know if it's optional or not.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the main story just told me to basically go.
Is the main story gonna tell me where to get the Master Sword? By the way.
Yeah, it's a main quest they have to do.
But like, is it gonna tell me where I need to pick up that quest? Because I feel like I have 2 sages at this point, and I feel like at 2 you got the Master Sword, and I don't have any hints as to where to go.
You can have 0 sages and get the Master Sword. I'll tell you that right now.
Is it not a heart requirement like in the first one?
Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, I don't care.
It's not a heart requirement. Stamina. You need at least 2 full wheels.
I'm done then. I just don't know where to go.
Yeah, I can give you a hint.
Sure, give me a hint, but don't tell me where to go.
Okay. You'll get it. You'll get the start of the quest through actually through cutscenes.
Through cuts. Oh, like the memories?
I will tell you no more. Said a hint.
All right. I might play that.
But basically, if you follow a main quest, like if you figure out what to do for a main quest,
you
can get to it. And it's a main quest that you have for sure already.
Okay. I might play that today then. Because I have Tulin and I have Sidon, and I was heading towards Goron City right now to get to get the 3rd one. But
yeah, Yunobo, the way that I did it is the way that I would definitely recommend doing it. Doing Tulin first, then Yunobo, because when you're in a vehicle, becomes an attack. So it helps with a bunch of other stuff. Any vehicle you get, any vehicle you build, he finds a spot to sit at as the spirit and launch himself off of.
Damn, that would have helped with Koga 3.
Yeah, that would have helped. That like I didn't even know what the mechanics of that fight were because I just on the water drove straight at Koga and launched Yunobo at him. He killed all of his extra guys by default, and then Koga was knocked out. And I just jumped over there. Yeah, I actually need to go back and watch your VOD of it. After you explained that it was a struggle for you, I wanted to see what it fight was supposed to be like if I didn't have Yunobo.
Yeah.
And then I would go get I think the other 2 are actually interchangeable basically.
Mm-hmm.
But the cool thing about Sidon's power is that if you go to the depths, there are some areas where it's really hot, and instead of having just one, so when you're above ground, if you go in a cave, you only need the 1 flame breaker armor, and you're fine, even though it's unbearable heat. When you go to the depths, the unbearable heat, you need either 2, or if you use Sidon's power to wet yourself down, you'll steam for a while and not take damage. I don't know what the timing is. I don't know how high you can climb, but if you just use his power, even though it's going to dissipate, you're fine. You won't take damage for a while. You'll still be fine in the unbearable heat.
That's pretty cool.
So that helps. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think that's pretty much everything.
Let's move your comic corner next.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Because I know you're gonna want to talk about those at length, probably.
Yeah. But yeah. So you can do the outro because you did the intro, I guess.
Yeah. So we left the who's your guy?
What does he
Give
want
us
for
feedback.
Yeah, and
it's not really a question.
Oh yeah, that, and then what should he get for Christmas? I mean, his
Birthday.
birthday. Also, like, what is the Doomsday clock? Are we gonna die soon? Let us know in the comments down below.
Anything we don't know, like how fast could we get using Japan speed from East Coast to West
Bro, that
Coast?
one I'm actually interested in.
And I think the longest route would actually be northwest to the base of Florida, unless you count
Yeah,
Alaska. But fuck that, you have
yeah,
to go like over the water or underwater in the train,
yeah.
which I'm sure we also have
Washington,
the technology for at some point.
Washington
Uh,
to the edge of Florida.
yeah, like how long would it take and how many miles is it? Because I don't feel like looking that up. But I have played the game Ticket to Ride, where that is a route, so I know it's like the longest route because it gets the
Oh,
most points. um, and I think that was it, right?
I
For leaving
think
the
so.
audience. Well, yeah, anything, just anything. I mean, obviously, any feedback you have about anything that we talked about, even if we barely touched on, like we didn't really talk about Gen V because there's not really much known about it. Just the trailer is there, and we know
Yeah.
it's in the boys' universe and stuff. But if you know more about it, you want to talk about it, just no mega spoilers unless we're doing a spoiler alert episode
Mm-hmm.
and we talk about that particular thing, like One Piece or like Demon Slayer or whatever. Mostly manga, but it could be other comics as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's gonna do it. You didn't hear it first. You didn't hear it here last, though. We're sure. We're positive because one of us will just tell you again if that's gonna be the case because we got to keep this. We got to keep our theme alive. But you heard it here. ... Pause. Eventually.
Later.